Hola y bienvenidos. En este video voy a hablar sobre los verbos do y make. La tema hoy es muy sutil y quiero usted entiende. Así que voy a hablar en los dos inglés y español. Estoy aprendiendo el español, así que espero que ustedes pueden ayudarme si yo hago errores. Bueno, en español, el verbo hacer significa los dos do y make, pero en inglés hay diferencias pequeñas entre los dos. Y quiero hablar en las diferencias. Voy a enseñarlo en los dos inglés y español, pero como siempre, cuando estoy hablando en inglés, voy a hablar muy lento y claro. Okay, ¿listos? Do versus make. Now, let's start with the most important difference between do and make. Do is a non-specific verb. Es totalmente inespecífico, como hacer en español. It has almost zero meaning. El verbo make es un poco más específico. Make significa fabricar o crear o causar. Esta es la cosa más grande. Sin embargo, sometimes it can be difficult to know whether to use do or make because some examples are not very clear. So I'm going to talk about the common examples of when you should use do and when you should use make. Okay, when to use do. Cuando se debe usar do? We usually use do when we are talking about tasks or work. So at your job or at school or in the house. For example, when I was a teacher, I used to remind students every day to please do your homework. Or I might say, Maria can do the next math problem. You could say, his dad told him to do his chores. Your boss asked you to do a new task. I was too busy yesterday to do all of my work. So here's a real example. I'm a nurse in an emergency room, and last week I had a patient who was very rude and she wanted more medication. So she yelled at me to do your fucking job. I'm usually very nice, but that was the first patient that I yelled at. All right, we also use do when we talk about actions that you do with your body. For example, you could say, he can do a backflip, or I do yoga, or when I was in 4th grade, we all loved to do the macarena. You could also say, I can do a magic trick. We also use do for some personal hygiene tasks. For example, do your hair. As you can see, I didn't really do my hair before this video. You could say do your nails or do your makeup. Okay, we also use do when we are evaluating actions as either good or bad. For example, we might say, do a good job. James did a great job. Or Julie did a bad job. Or Julie did a terrible job. Or do the right thing. Or you could say, do the wrong thing. For example, Maria always does the right thing. You could also say something can do well or do poorly. For example, palm trees don't do well in the shade. Or no plants do well in my apartment. We also use do at the beginning of many questions. For example, do you like ice cream? Do you want to go to the movies? Does Jacob have a new job? Saber cuándo debería usar do al principio de una pregunta y cuándo no debería usarlo es una gramática muy avanzada en inglés y no voy a hablar en eso hoy. por ahora, solo recuerda que do se usa con frecuencia para comenzar una pregunta. Okay, good job. Now let's talk about make. ¿Cuándo se debe usar make? Remember, make refers to creating a product or causing a result. We often use make to talk about food or money. For example, you can make breakfast, or you can make tea, or you can make coffee, or you can make a reservation at a restaurant. With money, the word make means earn. So I could say, I don't make enough money to buy a house in Los Angeles. Or Jackie makes $100 per day at her job. Or during the gold rush, Americans moved to California so they could make a fortune. Or you could say, overall, James makes a profit in his business. We also often use make when we're talking about communication. Actually, this is very common. I'm going to read some of these to you. So you can make a comment, make a suggestion, make a confession, make a joke, make a speech, make a complaint, make an excuse. You can make an observation. You can make a phone call. You can make a prediction. You can make sure. It means to confirm. Make a suggestion. I think I said that. We also use make when we're talking about plans and progress. So for example, you could say, we make plans, or we made plans, or we're making progress, or we're making headway. Means the same thing. I made a mistake, or I made a discovery, or I'm making a difference. You can make a decision or make a choice. You can make something better, or you can make something worse. As I mentioned before, make can also mean cause. Rain makes plants grow. Or Jack makes me angry. Or traffic makes people in Los Angeles very frustrated. Or having friends at your job makes work more fun. Similar to cause, make can also mean compel or force. For example, my mom makes me do the dishes every day. Or I'm going to make you watch my favorite show, Breaking Bad. Or in 2015, I made all of my friends listen to the podcast Serial. So good. It was really good. Or the Dursleys make Harry Potter sleep under the stairs. Okay, good work. Those are the main differences between do and make. Gracias por ver. Me encanta ayudarte a aprender el inglés. Así que, por favor, no tengas miedo de hacer preguntas en los comentarios a continuación. Mi español no es tan bueno, pero espero que usted puede ver que es posible para aprender como adulto. Tengo mucha confianza en su habilidad para aprender. Solamente necesita práctica. Y veremos pronto.